So now we move on to our wonderful guest that we have on our show, Rawan Osman, who is an incredible woman, Syrian, German, Lebanese, and is here in Israel to launch a new platform for Arab young people around the world to ask any questions they want and basically to combat the myths and the lies against Israel and the Jewish people. So we're thrilled to have on our quad this week an incredible guest. We pride ourselves, right, Ashira, on our guests?
Yes.
Rawan Osman is an Arab Zionist. You don't find that every day, but she is a Syrian, Lebanese, German who grew up in the region and then moved around. And today is the founder of a new platform called Arabs Ask, about all the different questions of all of the myths and lies that, go around the Arab world about Israel and the Jewish people. And you have such a fascinating story. So just tell us a little bit about your journey from the Bekaa Valley, which is north from us here. We're neighbors, essentially, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
To being an Arab Zionist.
Yes, you don't hear that every day.
No.
So I'm lucky that I broke out of the system that brainwashed hundreds of thousands, millions, I dare say. So my story, I was born in Damascus. My father is Sunni. My mother is Lebanese, Shiite. I grew up in the Bekaa Valley, actually, the heartland of Hezbollah. And I must admit that in my teenage, I liked them. I thought Hezbollah were heroes. They saved us whenever Israel attacked us. Up until in my 20s, I moved to France to study winemaking.
Oh,
by the way.
A good thing for a Muslim girl.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Yes.
I wanted to open a wine bar in the old city in Damascus with a friend. He used to be, at least, a hotelier. So I moved to France, and by chance, it was a coincidence, I ended up in the Jewish quarter in Strasbourg, and I thought it's like the Jewish quarter in Beirut or in Damascus. This one had a lot of Jews.
Yes, because the quarter in Damascus is, it's a museum, no more Jews. Right.
Yes.
But this one in France did have a lot of Jews.
Yeah, many.
Yes.
And I lived 200 meters from the synagogue, one of the biggest in the world.
Wow.
And I thought it's a museum because up till then I had never seen a synagogue. And on the first day, I went across the street to the grocery store, and I was happy because I found all the ingredients I needed to cook. Little I knew it was a kosher store. And I realized that when 4 men entered the shop, and I realized they speak in Hebrew, and as I turned, they were ultra-Orthodox Jews with sideburns and the hats and everything. And I had a panic attack.
You'd seen the devil.
The enemy. I'm
yes.
Right there.
Right.
I left my stuff, stormed out across the street, ran up to my bedroom, locked the door, although no one was following me. And as I was calming myself down, because I was sweating, I couldn't breathe.
Oh my God.
And when I was calming myself down, I looked in the mirror, and it just hit me. I realized the absurdity of our reality. I had a panic attack because I was sharing the same space with Jews, with the alleged enemy, right? Although they hadn't looked at me, it was a mixture of hatred, but mostly fear.
Fear. It's all about fear.
And since then, having access to uncensored information in Europe, I revisited the narrative I was taught at school, by my parents, by my friends, the news, the professionals, who blame everything, all ills of the world, on Israel. I read the narrative that was omitted from my existence, the Jewish story, the Israeli version of the events, to realize that Hezbollah are not heroes. They were actually the assailants. And throughout the last 70 to 80 decades, Israel showed a lot of restraint, but this doesn't help. We couldn't avoid the many wars, could we?
No. Unfortunately, it's lose-lose here. You show restraint and the enemy sees that as weakness. You use force and the world sees us as oppressors. We can't win. So, okay, so you realized Jewish people weren't the devil. You started reading the narrative. At what point did you become a Zionist?
Yes, good question. I actually read privately and decided to stay in Europe to raise my son away from the Middle East. And I was minding my own business until millions of Syrians moved to Europe.
Right.
I was happy as a Syrian that they found refuge. However, I was really concerned because I know the amount of antisemitism deep-rooted, ingrained in their existence. And I was wondering, when Angela Merkel said, "Wir schaffen das," we will manage, I was thinking, I really hope she has consultants who will tell her what she's inviting to this country, to Germany. I was worried. And as, of course, incidents started surfacing, not only in Germany, I decided to go back to university to study Jewish studies and Islamic studies from an academic perspective. And slowly but surely, I fell in love with Judaism, but also with this country, with Israel. And this is why yesterday actually, I came here for the first time. I'm so proud to be here among people who teach us a lesson of resilience, of solidarity, of persistence.
That's so beautiful. We're so blessed to have you here.
And what are you doing here on your trip for the first time?
As Fleur mentioned earlier, after the 7th of October, I founded a project called Arabs Ask. I was so angry, still am, after I've seen what happened on Saturday, that wicked day. And although I hate social media, and my son says I live under a rock, I'm a dinosaur, I realized, especially watching the mobs on the streets in the US and in Europe, that our only chance is social media to reach all these people who actually believe Israel is committing genocide in Gaza. Did they forget what happened on the 7th of October? Because I promise you, as a mom, when I saw the news, I thought of a mom in Gaza waking up to what happened. She knew exactly what these devils brought upon her children. And so Arabs Ask is one way for us to create short videos and debunk all the lies widespread, especially by my favorite TV, Al Jazeera. The harm they're doing.
What impact are you seeing with Arabs Ask?
We will start publishing after like second to third week in January. And I came to Israel because I think it's very powerful to start in Israel, especially as a Syrian Lebanese/German citizen, which allows me to be here now. It's very strong to start here from the forbidden land, because once you come as an Arab to Israel, you've crossed all the red lines. And I want to send that message because, as you said, Fleur, I am a Zionist unapologetically.
Do you really think, because we go in this program from hope, resilience, to sometimes feeling a little bit hopeless, that in the pit that is the social media world, where people obviously don't care about facts, not historical facts. There are people denying the Holocaust, you know that. How can we really make an impact? Do you think that there is that kind of moderate Arab mind out there that is saying, hang on, these things don't make sense to me, just like it didn't make sense to you once you met some Jews?
2 weeks ago, we were on a 2-week speaking tour in the US. Right. And we spoke on university campuses in New York, in Boston, in Atlanta. We spoke to many Jewish students who felt a lot of despair.
Yeah.
They were intimidated, bullied, depressed. And I'm going to tell you what I told them. I can't imagine someone during the Holocaust or after having any hope for the Jews. Still, the Israelis managed to establish a Jewish state. Let that resonate.
Yeah.
Let that sink for a moment. If that was possible, I believe the Jews are capable of doing anything, more so the Israelis, because they're not only Jews today.
That's right.
Together, they teach us
the Arab population who are very happy to be here.
Absolutely. And together, they teach us a lesson of solidarity, pushing forward for a better future for all of our children. And what is the alternative if we give up, Fleur?
There's no alternative. This is why we soldier on. There's nothing, there's no alternative, but we still wake up in the morning sometimes and I want to see that light at the end of the tunnel.
With all that information, all this knowledge, all of the efforts that we do on social media, here on the Quad, we talked about a few weeks ago, like how Israel is failing in PR. From your perspective, what main message could we give into the Arab world that would really penetrate? Like what does the messaging need to be because it's not working thus far?
It seems like it's not working because Hamas's propaganda is very effective.
Very.
Very. And with the help of Al Jazeera,
of course,
it becomes even more
their
effective.
mouthpiece.
I mean, we say it's effective, but let's be careful. It's not very helpful, especially not to Gazan civilians.
Of course not. The way they don't care about civilians.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter whose side they're on.
But let that sink in for all the Arabs who are promoting this hatred, that they have blood on their hands. They are responsible for the death of the Gazans as well. They're helping Hamas directly and indirectly. However, I think Israel is doing a great job. We are outnumbered, it's true, but giving up is not a choice. It's not an option.
Right.
So we keep fighting, we keep debunking what's obviously BS. I think Hamas, they can deny, they can try to get out of it, but they shared what they've committed. There is no way out of what they've done, and they will be held responsible. And this is why Israel was pulled into this war, and I hope they will be able to dismantle Hamas to the last of the terrorists.
Rawan, inshallah. Thank you so much for being here. We are blessed to have people like you on our side who see the truth and who are not scared to tell the truth. It takes really a brave woman to come to Israel and do this, especially in the Arab world. And so we salute you and we invite you on our show anytime you're back.
Thank you.
Thank you.